Let's turn to the latest right now on the massive college admissions scandal. Dozens of people, including celebrities, facing serious charges accused of bribing their kids' way into elite schools, including Georgetown University here in Washington. Now, as you can imagine, it is turning into a legal battle. Class action lawsuits have already been filed by students who say they were denied fair opportunities at admission and who say that their degrees have been devalued. So question number one is, do they really have a case? Joining us now, Frederick Lawrence, lecturer at Georgetown Law, former president of Brandeis University, esteemed university in itself. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Does anybody have a case here?
No, I don't think so. I understand why they're upset. They should be upset. They're entitled to be upset. But they'd have to prove negligence against the university. That means that the university actually knew or should have known that there was something wrong here, either at the test center, which is inconceivable. They rely on the tests we always did at Brandeis, or even your athletic coaches. You trust your athletic coaches in these situations to be giving you good information. What we used to do is each coach got a certain number of what we call tips. A tip doesn't guarantee you to be admitted. You still have to make the rest of the case. But that's an extra plus in the file. But I told my admissions people, you check one of those tips to make sure their academic record is solid. I didn't tell my admissions people, you go back and see if that basketball recruit can shoot threes. That's what my coaches do.
So by that argument, then you're saying that the top administration at the university might not know if X student is good enough to be on the rowing team or not.
No, you have people who do that for you. It's a big process.
In the athletics department.
Exactly. Brandeis, which is not that big a research university, we had over 10,000 applications. Some of these other schools are talking about USC. It's tens of thousands of applications. Now, there's something bad that happened here, and there are bad actors who ought to be fully investigated and prosecuted. But it's the people who gave the bribes and the people who took the bribes.
So from that argument, then, you go after the people who, as you just mentioned, gave and took, including some at the university level. But as far as any civil cases, any legal cases here from either incoming students or students who were denied admission to those schools, you don't think that will wash?
No, and for two reasons. The one we just talked about, you have to show negligence from the university. The other is what lawyers would call damages. What's the damages here? I understand they feel as if the process wasn't fair. The process, by the way, even at these schools, was overwhelmingly fair. Yes, there were people who bribed their way in. But I think it's really important that people know over the next couple of months, several millions admissions decisions will be made public. And the vast, vast majority of those are square and were done properly.
Is there, and I ask you this as a former university president, if I'm a student who feels slighted, I didn't get into Brandeis. Okay, just put it out there because that's where you were, but obviously not any allegation of any wrongdoing.
No, thank you.
But if I did not get in, now I'm upset saying I feel like maybe I should have gotten in because somebody got in inappropriately. Is there any way of knowing where I would have even fallen on that list if I was next man up or not?
It's a great question. No, we don't rank people from 1 to 10,000. There are lots of reasons people are admitted, lots of reasons people don't get admitted. You can't just stack them up that way. It doesn't work that way. So as I say, I understand they feel like they took the game seriously, they played it straight. They're right to have their feelings hurt. They're right to feel as if something went wrong. Something did go wrong, but it doesn't mean they have a civil suit.
You are excelling in the field of law and also as a former university president. What changes now at the admissions level, at the university level moving forward?
Well, I regret to say we're living in a time where your admissions people are going to have to redouble efforts and not trust all the people who give you information. Now, that's a terrible thing to have to say. But I guess it turns out that when your athletic coach says, this is one of our tips, you go behind that and check the bona fides a little bit. I'd hate to think that's what we have to do in every one of our cases. By the way, it's not just the athletes. What about the musician who's got a letter from one of my music professors saying this is a uniquely talented violinist? What about the actor? One of my people says this is what you need, for our acting program next year. You trust your people. You hire the best people you can and you trust them, which is one of the reasons that there have to be serious consequences for the people who abused our trust.
Definitely a dent in some of the trust moving forward now when it comes to that. Does you see overwhelming damage to any of these universities involved? Or we've had cheating scandals in the past.
No, I think this is different, and I think there is damage to these universities. In fact, I would say there's damage to the overall process. I think it's incredibly important to emphasize, that's why I say with millions of decisions, the vast majority, the process worked, and that families can have confidence.
Let me ask you one more question, and
Sure.
I know that this is very delicate because it comes to individual students' needs, but this is a situation where we have the so-called elite students that are affected here. Does this damage opportunities for maybe some people who are not elite moving forward, that they might be scrutinized now more than in the past, or does it benefit certain people?
I think it's going to make extra questions asked about a lot of people. And unfortunately, I picture really bright, talented young people who are going to sit at a job interview, and they're nervous about that interview, and they're going to be asked questions, did you really belong at that school? That's a terrible thing to do to those kids.
Frederick Lawrence, Georgetown University Law, former president of Brandeis University, and CEO of Phi Beta Kappa Society. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Nice being with you.